Islands galore.
George, get out of the...
Sunrise in there. Mount Katahdin.
I know you don't like it.
Winter Harbor, that's where we were on the road trip, the main road trip.
I love you, I love you. You love me,
On foot, by rail, by road, people have made their way to the summit of Cadillac Mountain for centuries. Noticing the influx of vacationing rusticators in the late 1800s, entrepreneur Frank Clerg devised an ambitious system in which carriages hauled passengers from Bar Harbor to Eagle Lake, where they boarded a steamboat that took them to a cog railroad, which was called the Green Mountain Railway. Here it is. Because Cadillac, that was its original name. The 3-tier excursion took 90 minutes. After 10 years, the railway closed, largely because competitors had built a new carriage route, and that, in turn, was greatly improved for automobiles in the 20s and 30s. You are entering the backcountry. All right, we got some wrong action coming up, but take a look at this. Elevation 520 feet. She's beauty and she's grace. She's Acadia National Park. We're at the bowl. Thurston's Lobster, where my mom met Julia Child and got her autograph. The jumbo lobster roll. Shout out to my parents for giving me their 90s main Atlas, which I do keep in my car and has seen some shit, but important to have for sure. Duck Brook Bridge. We love Duck Brook Bridge. Get it? Really feels like fall. in honor of Samuel de Champlain. Born in France, 1567, died at Quebec, 1635. A soldier, sailor, explorer, and administrator who gave this island its name. Asticou Inn, gorgeous. 76 people have died in Acadia National Park since it was officially labeled a national park in the early 1900s. One of those people was Leslie Spellman. This was in 1977. 27-year-old yoga instructor Leslie Spellman said goodbye to her younger sister in Barrie, Vermont on June 18th, 1977. The pair had hitchhiked to Vermont from their home in Massachusetts for a backpacking trip, and now Leslie planned to continue on to Acadia, thumbing rides with her dog. The next day at 9:45 a.m., tourists discovered her body laid out in the tranquil Asticou Garden here in Northeast Harbor. Medical examiners said she had been dead for several hours, killed by repeated blows to the head with a blunt instrument. Her dog was found less than a mile away. With no motive, no evidence of sexual assault, authorities have twice speculated that Spellman's murder was the work of a serial killer. For a time in the late 70s, police harbored suspicions about a confessed murderer in Connecticut who had similarly blunted his victims and whose car contained hair compatible with Spellman's dog. No link has ever been established, though. In 2007, Maine State Police held a press conference to solicit new tips pertaining to Spellman's murder in light of new forensic technologies. Spellman's sister came to Bangor for the event, and her comments at the time echo the sentiments of family and friends of all Maine's cold case victims. "It's never over," she told reporters. "It never goes away." Seal Harbor Beach. Martha Stewart lives somewhere up there in the Skylands Road or whatever it is, with the rich people. One of her many houses. Porcupine Islands. Look at them out there. Cruise ship coming into port. Oh boy. More people on this goddamn island. We are looking at Frenchman Bay. Commemorate the region's rich French heritage. Acadia stems from Arcadia, a term used by Giovanni Verrazzano's expedition to describe the Atlantic coast in 1524. The name Mount Desert Island was given by French explorer Samuel Champlain during his 1604 visit. Cadillac Mountain honors Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac, a self-proclaimed French noble who received a large land grant, including all of Mount Desert Island, from King Louis in 1688. MDI Biological Laboratory. My grandma, Connie, worked here for 10 years. From the 80s, late 80s into the 90s. She was a bookkeeper here. Bay Meadow Cottages. Shearwater. Very cute. Got the king bed. Little kitchenette in there. They even gave us some Bar Harbor coffee. And a nice little bathroom. This is the barn at the cottage, which is open 8 to 5 for guests to go in and hang out. All right, we got the pie and got the ice cream. Vanilla. Conveniently across from the Salisbury Cove Post Office. Martha Stewart, Skyland.
Make them today, they make them out of plastic. And what they used them for, they used them in the theater projectors, auto headlights. They still use the lenses in your eyeglasses to correct double vision. So the U.S. Navy uses them. 5 miles to Sloansville, as I said, which was the first settlement here. There's also a little village up there on the other side of the little mountains there you see, about a mile up.
And that's
There was all quarry.
Fernald Cove.
Back in the 1800s, early 1900s, we had a number of quarries up there. An active lighthouse. Hope you recognize it. Get up there closer. Light reflecting off the lands right there at about 10 o'clock. But this island is owned by the park. There's an active lighthouse, and there's just enough of the light shining. You can see the light. We do a trip out here. In the summer, we come in a small boat. These things were in existence from 1878 to 1915. And during that time, they estimate there were about 27,000 shipwrecks. 180,000 people to be rescued.
Wow, look at these graves. Captain James Hammer died June 21st, 1888. We are here in downtown Bar Harbor. This little cemetery with the grave of Lucretia K. Douglas. This article is from March 26, 1924. The Tragedy of Newport Mountain. On a beautiful morning in blueberry time, the men and boys were all away fishing. Some of the women and girls made up a party to go to Newport after blueberries. A good early start was made. Among those who made up the party were two beautiful young girls about 14 years of age, Elmira Connors and Lucretia Douglas, near neighbors at Cromswell Harbor. Miss Connors, living in the so-called Zach Bigger Higgins house that stood on the spot of the Dorr estate, where was built the house that Charles Southward lived in while caretaker for the Dorrs. Miss Douglas lived in an old house that stood on the spot on which Gardner Sherman first built. Carriage Road Gatehouse. We are on Stanley Brook Bridge, which runs right over Park Loop Road here. You can see my car. The 45 miles of scenic carriage roads throughout Acadia were built between 1913 and 1940 by John Rockefeller Jr. He built the cards as a car-free, scenic means for himself and his neighbors to travel through and view beautiful Mount Desert Island. Lots of horses and carriages come through here. The roads include 17 stone bridges like this one, 16 of which were financed by Rockefeller. There's the Bubbles, and you can see Bubbles Rock, a glacial erratic. Look up between the treetops at Bubble Rock, a large boulder perched on the south face of South Bubble Mountain. This glacial erratic has been sitting there since the last glacier retreated from this area about 15,000 years ago. It's not there for me today. Muscle Man.